Hello, and welcome to Customer Service, Merchandising, and Food Presentation. I'm Jen Weaver, and I'm here with Jennifer Patrick.
Hello.
And Holly Longo.
Hello.
And today we're going to have a discussion about customer service and merchandising and why it's important. So the purpose of what we're doing today is to develop awareness of the importance of customer service and an understanding of merchandising and the presentation of food in the school nutrition program and how they're part of customer service. So the next thing that we're going to do is watch a short video. So I ask as you watch it, just try to put yourself in the position of these students and think about how you would feel if this is what you were faced with on a daily basis.
Hey, Mr. Q.
Did you see that? Why would somebody do that?
Please go into the classroom. No talking. Quietly.
Hey, Miss Merida. How you doing?
We need you inside.
How do you think that makes us feel?
I forgot my number.
What's your name?
Jordan.
What's your last name?
Carter.
All right. Go ahead.
School is hard enough.
Come on in, sit down quietly at your desks, and begin writing.
This kind of stuff just makes it harder.
I said quietly, please. Who's talking? Is it you, Sophie? Don't let it be you.
Don't believe me?
Sophie.
Please just watch.
I'm not up here for me, I'm up here for you. Pay attention, okay? Now somebody answer me. Somebody needs to answer me really fast.
Every time we're ignored or yelled at or silenced, the teacher takes away what's possible.
No horseplay, no running, and especially no talking.
Moment by moment.
Mr. Garrity, your student's behavior yesterday in the lunchroom, it was terrible. Next time, silent lunch.
Did you hear that? Stay in line and catch a bubble. I'm not playing.
If this is education, we're in trouble.
Bye, Miss McGarrity.
Frederick Douglass said, once you learn to read, you'll be forever free. The way it is now, 2 of the 3 of us will never be able to really read. It doesn't have to be this way.
Hey, Jordan, how you doing?
Good.
Good.
Everyone we meet throughout our day can make a difference.
I've been waiting for you to arrive.
All the difference.
Good, how are you? Great.
Hi, Jordan. Bye, Jason.
Good morning, Jordan.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. How are you?
Good.
Go ahead and put your number in.
Talk with
I
us,
don't know my number.
not at us.
That's okay. I'll look it up for you. Go ahead, sweetheart.
Okay.
All right. Have a
Teach
good
us what we need to know.
Good morning.
That's how we get smarter.
Well, good morning, Sophie, Janicia, and Jordan.
And when you talk with us and teach us, give us bigger and bigger words.
Now what I'd like you to do, children, is turn around and converse with your neighbor and discuss where the mother might have gone.
Words that we can use to read and understand,
She is prey for eagles, so she hunts at night.
and that will take us places we can never reach without you.
Remember, we're entering the learning zone. Now, how can we show our respect to the children and teachers who are working?
We can walk quietly.
Yes. Okay, kids, so what I'd like you to do is continue writing your narrative, documenting your emotions if you were the baby owl and your mother abandoned you in the nest.
What can you do? Learn all that you can so that you can challenge us to be our best.
You would have stayed and assisted them in whatever they needed.
Share yourself with us and show us how to share ourselves with others. Give us courage. Give us compassion. Help us find our own voices so we can become who we are meant to be.
Why would you want to silence us?
I don't know about you guys, but that video always kind of makes me a little sad thinking about, students that may not be treated so well at home and then they get more of the same when they come to school. So I think it's a good reminder to, make sure that we're treating everyone in well, because we never know what someone might be going through. So
It's very true. Because your face might be the only friendly face they see for the day, and that
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we want you to kind of take a moment and think about a situation that might be going on for a student. So visualize yourself as a student in your school. Your parents are fighting at home and you've overheard them saying they don't have enough money to pay rent this month. You just received an F on an important test, and on the way to lunch, you were bullied and laughed at in the hall. To top it all off, you found out you were not invited to your best friend's party. So pause the video for a minute and share how you're feeling as you enter the cafeteria for lunch. Okay, so we also want to, take a minute to share some other experiences. Share some of the things you hear from your students on a daily basis. Next, we want you to think about what the students hear from the school nutrition staff as they go through the serving line every day. Share what you believe are the 2 most common phrases or statements said to children as they go through the line in the cafeteria. And these are across the nation. So pause and discuss your answers to these questions. Okay.
The 6 top statements made by staff to children in the serving line. Starting in reverse order. Next. Let's go, kids. Next. What do you want? Choose. Vegetables, burger. Come on, let's go. Let's go. What do you want? Come on, let's get moving. Come on, let's go. Get the line moving. You're taking too long. Let's go. Stop talking, guys. You need to stop talking in line. Let's go. Enter your PIN. Try again. Just tell me your name and I'll do it. The most common thing said to our customers is nothing. Pause and discuss other things we could say to students. Statements customers hear when they enter a restaurant. Hi, may I help you? It's great to see you today. I hope you enjoy your meal. Great choice of food selections today. Do you look nice today? I'm sorry, don't you look nice today? What would the impact be on a customer service if every school nutrition employee said one or two of these phrases to the students when they enter the cafeteria or move through the serving line?
That would really help to elevate our students' experience. If they're seeing that friendly face and we're saying something, kind to them on a daily basis.
Absolutely. Want to come get lunch.
I think it would also improve participation because they would look forward to having those kind words and that exchange every day. And I think that would be a positive thing for everyone.
And students aren't using their lunch numbers right now, but I can imagine some of them might even be, afraid to go through the line if they're not really sure what their lunch number is. So, if they see a kind, friendly face, they're, I think, more apt to want to eat with us.
More likely to come in and try
Trying to be for sure.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about, kind of thinking through who is our customer. Our students, they come from different cultural backgrounds, different income levels, and from other states and even different countries. With all that diversity in schools today, you can be sure students in our district have different likes and dislikes. What they do have in common is that there are customers, and they are the reason for the existence of the school nutrition programs. So our first objective is that you identify your customer. So we're going to divide into groups, and we're just going to take about 5 minutes to answer the following questions. So we want to figure out, who are our primary customers, and then who would our secondary customers be? What influences the needs and wants of the school nutrition customers? And what factors or groups influence a customer's eating habits? Okay, so let's just take a few minutes to pause this and think about and answer those questions together.
Question 1, who are the primary customers and who are the secondary customers? The students are our primary customers of our school nutrition program, and for the purpose of this lesson, we will focus on the student customer. Our secondary customers include school administrators, teachers, support staff, and of course the parents. What influences the needs and wants of school nutrition customers? Diversity. Because students who come to the cafeteria are so different, feeding them can be quite challenging. Age is also a factor. Certain characteristics are typically common to students at various stages or times in their lives. These characteristics influence their needs and wants. Peers. Our adolescent customers have strong social needs and are often influenced by their peers. Culture. Students come from many regional and ethnic backgrounds that influence eating patterns.
How customers feel at a particular time of the day. The precipitation of how food served in the school meals program looks and tastes. The amount of time to eat and enjoy the company of their friends. The environment of the dining room. Whether or not there is positive reinforcement of behavior. The beliefs and practices of parents and teachers.
So these were all some factors that influence the eating habits of our students. And as you know, some of our cafeterias, we're going to get a little bit of a design update this year. So we're really just trying to, improve that environment for our students, because that's going to help them, be able to learn better the rest of their day by having a place that they can come, that's inspiring and kind of a fun environment to be in. So we kind of take those things into consideration when we're trying to create a space for our students in the cafeteria. Okay, objective 2. State how the principles of customer service, merchandising, and food presentation relate to attracting and keeping customers. The basic principles of food presentation influence our customers' choice to eat or not eat in our school meal program. So think about this. Whether it's a restaurant or retail store, a successful business grabs your attention as soon as you enter. The same rules must apply in the school nutrition program. All right, so how would you ladies react to this meal? We've got macaroni and cheese, cauliflower, white milk, a white roll, and canned pears.
It's very boring, unexciting,
Too white, no color.
Yeah, I would be like, well, I don't feel like eating today. And it doesn't really catch my eye. It doesn't really make me feel like,
Into the background.
Yeah.
Look at all the color.
Wow.
So presentation is definitely important. Presenting food creatively can turn a dull-looking food service line into a healthful and appetizing eating opportunity. Students have the same impressions as most of us when deciding what they will select and eat as they come through the line. So, we understand right now most of our food has to be prepackaged, so it's a little bit more challenging, right now. But, as we, things return to the serving line, these are definitely some things to keep in mind. We want to make sure that the presentation is really important, because students, are making their decisions based off what things look like.
But also, Jen, those beautiful signage that you made. So even though the food right now is in bags and boxes, the signs, the beautiful pictures, really, if they're showcased right, are an absolute enticement for the children. Because I would want to know what's in the bag. Like, ooh, that looks good. I think I'll try that.
They get excited, what's in the
Yeah,
bag.
absolutely.
Right.
Definitely.
And the pictures are actually of the actual food. So we did cook the entire menu this summer, and we realized that a couple of the sides and things like that have changed on those pictures. So we're kind of working through those things. And as we return to the serving lines, we'll probably update a few of those images. But we really want to give our students a realistic picture of what it is that they're going to be getting, because so we did take our actual food and really cook it for those pictures. All right, so we're going to look at some of the key elements of presentation. We have color, texture, shape, simplicity, and height. So these are all factors to keep in mind as we're setting up a visual presentation for our students.
So color is one of those. In the next few slides, you will see ways that the school nutrition team can present food to increase eye appeal and stimulate appetite. As you view the slides, you may think, we don't have the materials, tools, or ingredients to do this, or we can't afford it. We don't have the staff. After all, we do not employ professional chefs. You are right about the challenges, but think about this. Could you establish standards to your staff? Could do some of these things? You can modify ideas to use the cafeteria. For example, you can decorate the serving line or arrange the food in more colorful and pleasing manner. Right here, you can see that there's a little buffet serving line that has all different colors, shapes, sizes. So it makes it more eye appealing for the student to want to come up and get a salad today.
I want a salad. Yeah, that's great. And another thing about the pictures, everything looks really full and appealing. Yeah, you may not want those tomatoes if there's like one or two little lonely slices sitting in the bottom of a container. So everything looks really full and fresh and crisp and appealing.
Very vibrant color, kids texture. Kids would love to come and grab them.
And you can see, fresh fruits and vegetables are an option. Okay, and these are some of our actual pictures of some food that were taken in our schools. So if you kind of look at all the color and texture, we're setting up and getting things ready. So even though, some of our meals are packaged right now, our schools are really doing a great job of, trying to ensure that the recipes are followed and the food looks really inviting. So we just have to say thanks and great job for continuing to do that, even though it's a little bit more challenging circumstances of packaging everything. There's also another picture that was taken on our serving line where you can just kind of see a variety of colors with some salads and some fruit cups and things like that. Here's just another example, of a salad that just has some, it's colorful, it looks fresh, has some different textures in there. Okay, color preparation techniques. You can see from the slideshow how overcooking can change the color and appearance of the food. How can this be avoided? So how can that be avoided?
Actually, a lot of times with things like broccoli, they can be blanched at the time. You literally dip them into boiling water and then cool them down really quick, and it retains the color and the crispness of the vegetable. But if that can't be done, then the other alternative is to cook that vegetable as close to serving time as possible. Yes. Because the goal is to maintain the quality and the integrity of the product.
Yeah, you can see how one is very bright color on the left, and on the right it looks dull and it's like it's been sitting there.
And I'm sure it's
hours.
Mushy because once that's broccoli, right? Mm-hmm. Once broccoli is overcooked, it's like mush, and nobody's going to want to eat that. Not even a child who likes broccoli will eat that. So.
Right. And if we can kind of introduce our students to, vegetables that are cooked appropriately, we might get a few more of them choosing those vegetables. So just definitely something to keep in mind. Make sure that we're cooking them so that they're at the highest quality. All right. So a little bit about texture. Did you know that texture is one of the most important attributes used by consumers to assess food quality? Think about how eating a taco gives your mouth a sensation of different textures. By combining crisp with soft foods, we get a great presentation, and it's a party in our mouths. Of course, you don't have to combine the two textures in the same dish, but both should exist on the menu. When we go into a restaurant and order a green salad to go with our entree, it's often because we want a mixture of textures, so that crunchy with the
sweet and sour, the crunchy with the soft. It's a party in your mouth, but it's a party for your eyes too, because you're
absolutely.
Like,
you're excited when you see like good salad
right now.
Lunchtime. Yeah. The next presentation principle involves shapes in food. Have you ever thought about how combining shapes makes food more appealing? We can add eye appeal by combining natural shapes and creating new shapes.
Okay, and this picture was taken out at one of our schools also on a special day where we were doing some, Florida Fresh products, but you can see that there's a variety of shapes here, the way that the fruit is cut, we can do different things there. And then there's just kind of a variety of colors and textures and fresh items on this tray here. So, all right. So food shapes. How many ways can you cut a sandwich? A variety of shapes gives the impression of a variety of foods. Children will look at a sandwich cut in a different way as a different food.
That's
kind of
cool.
interesting.
Wow, yeah. Look at all the different ways you can
Yeah.
make it really appealing
Yeah.
instead of just a normal,
Cut it in half.
square shaped and not even cut.
True.
Right? Yeah, just that extra, little bit of time to kind of make the presentation something a little bit different, more interesting for our students, more eye-catching.
Colors, shapes,
Yeah.
circles, cubes.
Looks like there's kind of different ways they've cut the sweet potatoes and different ways that you can think about to cut your vegetables and fruits and things like that to kind of make it more interesting. These are some of the pictures that we've had from our schools where there's, kind of a variety of shapes and the way that things are cut. But the presentation looks nice because there's also a variety of colors. And you can tell that everything looks really, really fresh.
That's the thing. People assume that because it has to be portioned with the cups, that it has to look boring. There's I can't do anything with it. I'm putting it into this little cup. But there's these little things that you can do that just make it stand out and it catches your eye and you're like, wow, that looks really nice. I would like to try that today.
Right. And, rule of thumb is if it's not, if it doesn't look good, don't serve it. If the quality of the produce, it doesn't look very good, we don't want to serve it. We want to give our students the highest quality of, freshness available. Simplicity. Simple, clean lines and shapes are most pleasing to the eye.
Absolutely. The tray looks colorful, organized, has everything that's required on the tray. And just
Burger
looks
is
very
put together very neatly, so there's nothing falling out of it. It's just like, wow, I could just pick that up and take a bite out of that right now.
Sounds good to me. Height. A variety of heights is important for food and presentation. Look at this slide and ask yourself, how can I apply this concept in my school? So, having different shapes and sizes, catches the children's eyes and notices that way far down from the line to be like, oh, I really want that.
But if it's not laying on the plate, it's like, yeah, okay. But putting it like this slide, when you're stacking things on top of each other or just creating a little design with it, it almost gives it a restaurant quality.
Yes.
And so they think that, wow, this is something special.
Like having shrimp on the menu.
Well, I told you my experience at Chocotati with the shrimp po' boy,
Yes.
and it looked beautiful. And the little boy said, is that shrimp? And we said, yeah. And he said, wow, this is a high class place.
Yes,
And I thought
cute.
that was really, really funny. But
That's
so,
such an awesome comment for our
Yeah.
students, and that really makes them feel valued. Like we're
Yes.
putting in the effort, that extra effort to, make them, feel good and feel valued.
Definitely.
So that's awesome.
Self-serve packaging. Pre-prepared or packaged salads are a great merchandising option for schools. Healthy, tasty, and attractive pre-packaged salads offer students variety and choices. Presentation makes a big difference in selling prepackaged meals. Part of the challenge is to showcase the food products in an appealing way. So you can see the salad, all together and
that's
placed
true.
neatly on top. You can see all the ingredients in the
a lot of
salad.
times we'll go to Publix or Wawa and we'll buy a salad for our own lunch. And what's catching your eye? How it was presented in the case. What does
Yes.
it look like?
There was a
What's in
picture.
it? Do
Yep.
I like those things?
How fresh does it look?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, same things that catch our eye in a supermarket or a restaurant.
We want
Children
it to
have
be
the
the same
same-
way in the
yeah,
cafeteria.
Exactly.
Okay, so here's some reminders for the serving line setup. We've talked about before that batch cooking is critical, really, to ensure that students are getting the freshest quality food. We really don't want food cooked early in the morning that we're still serving in lunches around 1 o'clock. That's just not going to be the best quality for our students. And that may be a reason they decide to stop getting lunch with us if they're continuing to get cold food or food that's just not at the best quality. If it looks bad, don't serve it. Holding temp should be 140 degrees for short periods. We don't want to see a bunch of paper or foil or plastic, all those things on the serving line. We want it to be a neat and clean presentation. we don't want to see a lot of sheet pans. Those maybe we could use with pizza, but other than that, we can kind of remove those from the serving line. Changing out pans when they become empty, removing any clutter. Making sure the signage we're putting up, we're not just sticking up, handwritten signs places or putting them on the sneeze guard, that we're using the sign holders and making it look more professional and elevated like you'd see in a restaurant. We don't want to see holes in the serving line. We want the presentation to look really full and inviting. Reduce or eliminate the amount of lids when the students are coming through the serving line. Clean rims. Make sure that the food is shingled. We'll show some pictures of what that looks like. We can solid color patterns are also really appealing to the eye. And then when possible, adding a little garnish is always a great way to, elevate the presentation and draw our students in.
One of the things I wanted to mention is with the line setup, some of the lines have squeeze guards or glass in front of the line so that the kids are looking through it, but they can't reach through to touch the food. And to me, it's critical that those things are super, super clean, because for me, if I walk through and I see that it's smudged or it's dirty or there's food from a previous meal period, I'm like, well, really, how clean is this establishment? And, I'm immediately turned off, and I really don't want to eat anything on that line, regardless of how nice it looks, because basic cleanliness before you put those items in, to me, is critical.
Absolutely. Cleanliness is more important than ever.
Very important.
Okay, so here's a before and after picture. Which one does everyone think looks better?
The after. Separated. It's more appealing. The kids, it's more inviting for them to take food.
Absolutely.
It's less confusing. We can immediately decide, do I want the yellow apple or the red apple?
Yeah, it keeps that serving line moving a little faster, I think, when things are well organized.
Yes.
Here's another before and after picture where they've kind of grouped the light colors together.
Absolutely.
So you can just
It's
kind of
easier
see.
and quicker for them to choose.
And don't worry about anything falling out into the other pans because of the way it's lined up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Which people in LCD.
Okay, this is an example of shingling food. So it's, rather than being kind of tossed in the pan like this, they've, laid it out in an appealing way. And really, when we think about it, it doesn't take that long to just kind of, put the food in the pan and set it up so that it looks nice.
Equal throughout, because the one on the left side, everything's haphazardly thrown in there. So the stuff on the bottom is probably hot, and maybe the stuff in the middle, but the stuff on top is cold. So for heating, temperature-wise as well, it looks good, and that it's maintaining temperature.
Okay, which one do we think looks better here?
The bottom one, definitely. They have the garnish on the pasta.
Same size pans.
All the pans are going in the same direction. There's, garnish also on the tomato sauce. It's neat, appealing. It's just very nice and organized. Yeah, the kids are knowing what they're going to want when they come through.
Yeah, you're not really having to reach over, one item to get to another item. So it just looks nice too. With those linear pans, just really kind of draw your eye. So it's a nice presentation, the way that they have that laid out and they have it garnished, when possible. So. All right, here's another before and after. Which one looks better to you?
Definitely on the right side.
Yeah.
The vegetables look very vibrant, fresh.
Colorful.
Don't look like they've been old, sitting there all morning, ready for lunch.
I would not eat that on the left. And
yeah, you can
just looking at it, it looks like it's probably been there for hours.
Yeah, you can tell that the vegetables are definitely more crisp on the right and probably kind of mushy on the left. You can just tell by looking at them. Yeah, you can see the presentation looks really nice here. They've garnished it. On the picture on the left, it looks a little maybe kind of burned. So
yeah, you know what the other side is.
That those are some shells on the right. And again, I know neatness wise, it looks amazing. It's lined up perfectly. And temperature-wise, it looks like they would all be around the same temperature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so what are some of the rules? So remember those rules that we talked about earlier. What are some things that we're seeing here that could be opportunities to do things a little bit better?
That we're not using the same utensil for different items.
I see that the green beans and I think there are peas on top. They've been sitting there for a while. If you feel like the vegetables have been in your well too long, change them out. Get a new pan. It makes it look more fresh, and the kids would want to take more vegetables if it looks, appealing to them.
Yeah, on the one with the salad, we've got kind of like an empty container there. It looks like maybe those are kind of, getting kind of low, and we want to make sure everything looks really, full and inviting. Those peas look a little shriveled up and just not so great. The color is a little off.
Probably the worst thing is that you're getting the dregs, like the absolute bottom of the barrel, and you're like, seriously.
Yeah, so we just want to make sure that the presentation looks great from the first student to the last student that's coming through the line.
Thank you.
So which rule was broken here? Does this look good?
Yeah. Oh, yes. No, the bread looks like it's been sitting in the warmer too long. It's not been proofed.
Whatever that is on the left side, I can see all the burnt edges around it. And honestly, that has no business being on a steam table.
Yes, not at all.
Yeah, how would you feel if you were the student that got like a scoop of like the burned part or the burned slice of pizza?
I'd be really upset about it.
Yeah, and especially some of our kids, they may not go home to like a home cooked dinner every night, so they really look forward to what they're getting at school. So, making sure that each meal counts and is, prepared in the same way and with consistency is really important.
I would also, take some of the buns off the sheet pan and not put it on the serving line like that.
That's
I would take out the good
standardized
ones.
recipes are so important. I mean, Bill used this example the other day about a Big Mac. He said, if you have a Big Mac in Brooksville McDonald's, it looks a certain way. If you go to New Orleans and you go to McDonald's in New Orleans, that Big Mac looks exactly the same way. So it's consistency. Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
So the pizza that they get, 1 week is going to be just as good as the pizza that they get the next week. Right. So they understand, for kids, that's really important, that I like this burger. I know that it's going to be good. So for the next week, we want it to taste the same and look the same and be the same burger that they know that they like. Absolutely. Oh, so how does this look?
Well, it looks like the dish room is on the table.
Empty pans, there's plastic. Looks empty. Where the kids are like probably going, what's for lunch today? I can't even tell.
Yeah, we have some lids on things. They can't even see the food.
When you see it that way, I mean, that area might be clean, but it gives you the impression that it's not clean.
Right. That just,
in my opinion.
Not a lot of care and attention has gone into it. Absolutely. How about this?
Oil is a problem because there's some sort of mystery something in there, and
we're
not really sure what that is. And
right, kids kind of like a sure thing, so I'm not sure they'd take us up on the mystery foil there if that's the way we were serving it. Also with presentation, like we've talked about the shingling before, just kind of putting it in there so it looks a little bit more appealing. Make sure that things are full and fresh.
And it only takes a minute to make sure that your food looks amazing.
Yeah, go on the outside of the line where kids would stand and look in and look in and see what it looks like from the children's side and not on the other side.
That's a great point. Yes.
It really is. Yeah, stand where your customer stands. That's a great point, Jen. And kind of look at what they're seeing. We used to do that in the retail industry. Go stand outside of your store and see what the customers are seeing as they're walking by. Would you want to go into that store? Would you want to go into that restaurant?
Does it look clean?
Right.
Absolutely. Organized?
Very important. Okay, so how about this? Oh, that's a salad bar. Does that look yummy?
No, they should be.
Is that a salad bar? What is that? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
There's
You
only
like that?
3 lonely tomatoes. I think there's a bag of
Yeah,
carrots
like,
in there.
For me, I would
Yeah,
just
no.
bypass
I
that
would
one completely.
Yeah,
I
nothing
would
on there
also
looks good.
bypass the next one too because I don't want the last of them.
Dregs.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
at the bottom of the pan.
Who wants that
It's
burned
crusty.
scoop of whatever that is
Yeah,
that's
that
left?
pan should
That
have
looks
been
horrible.
Yes,
removed.
and
And
removed.
because the food you put into your steam table at the start of your lunch service,
Should
there
look
should-
like it at the
at the
end.
very end, it should look the same exact way. So the children who had all 3 choices at the first lunch,
Be the
same
same
thing
at the
should
end.
apply at the end. You should
Correct.
never ever tell somebody that, sorry, you're not getting
Yeah.
that today. You can have this instead.
Right, absolutely. And
Yeah.
just a little disclaimer here, none of the pictures of the opportunity foods came out of our school district. These came out of other districts, but they're just some kind of good examples of some things that, you know, can be opportunities out there. Okay, and then here we see we've got some holes in the serving line, empty pans, just really
presentable.
not appealing. We have some pans sitting on top of other pans, and you know, it just doesn't look that inviting for students. You know,
Good presentation.
As the last one in, like, oh, man,
yeah,
we
there's
got
nothing
chips
left.
every day.
Okay, and what do we see here?
Empty pans, stickers, plastic,
Foil.
foil.
Like, what's even in there? I don't know. That doesn't look that
Mess.
great. Yeah, we've got signs just randomly stuck to the sneeze guard. So, and then
Plastic lids.
yeah, lots of lids on there. It just kind of looks cluttered. There's
It
really a lot of
does, and
clutter.
There's no reason why when you're getting ready for service, students are lined up, they're ready to walk in, remove all the lids off the steam table completely. When they're done, they're through, put the
Put it
lids
back
back on. Of course,
Absolutely.
that's also your opportunity to refill and refurbish all of your food on the line. So
Yeah, making it look great. Okay.
Oh, is that a garbage
it's not really a
bag?
trash bag. It looks like one.
What are they hiding under that trash bag there? Oh, that's what they're hiding. What is that?
What is that?
That looks like the stuff that were on the peanut that was pushed.
Oh, or like, is that a hamburger bun or is that like a roll?
I think
Probably
that's
a
like
roll.
Like
That's
it was
trash.
pushed.
That's what that is. That's straight
That
trash.
is, yeah, that is not.
Yeah, that's not
served.
something we
When
want to
in
serve for
doubt,
sure.
throw it
Throw it
out.
out. Okay.
Aluminum foil.
Yeah, what's for lunch? I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I don't know if I'm gonna risk
It
it.
should
I'll just
be-
sit at my table
It
today.
should
Foil.
also be sitting inside the steam table, not on top.
Correct, because when you put food on top of the steam table, it's not maintaining any type of temperature. So you need to make sure it's in pans that actually fit in the steam table and, you
Or
know,
if not, it needs to have like the ice packs or something to.
something, but
keep
there
it
has to be
cold.
contact either between the pan and the steam table water or the pan and ice.
Yeah,
Not just
absolutely.
out in the open like that.
Temperatures are important. and We know the health inspectors are always out, you know,
They
trying
are
to take
always out,
temperatures.
and the one thing we do not want is to have foodborne illness in one of our schools.
Yeah.
because That would be
We have
a
been very
horrible thing.
grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not.
On top of everything else this year, that's the last thing that we would
need,
want.
absolutely.
All right. So again, on the right here, you kind of see that, oh, there's lids. What
Kids
is for
can't
lunch?
see.
Like when you walk up, see that little girl with the little head there? She can barely see over the,
I can't
the
see it
table to
either.
begin with, and then she can't really tell what's in there. So yeah, it's important to make
guess
it visible to our little customers.
It's whatever they put on the plate, that's
Oh,
what
Right.
boy.
Aw.
But they have a choice.
Yes.
They do have a choice.
Okay.
And
Again.
pans that are tiny refilled.
Yeah.
I mean, the color's there and stuff, but I
It's
think that it's
there, it
just
doesn't look
What is that stuff? It looks
invitable.
like so like
I don't
watery.
know. I don't know.
Like chicken or something?
It kind of, but you have lettuce and tomato there. So I don't know if
Lettuce and
it's
tomato, maybe it's
something on
chicken?
water.
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Who knows what that is?
Yeah, that's probably not a good thing if people can't
Empty
identify what's in
fries.
their
It looks like
pans.
there's a pan of fries that were empty,
Yeah.
something like that.
Oil. Ooh, look at
Or
those
not.
yummy
Yeah.
brown green
Green
beans.
beans. Yeah, the
Wow.
lids on the back.
Yeah.
It looks like baked ziti or something.
Yeah.
It looks like it's been sitting
Baked
there
ziti.
too long.
Some dry
Yeah.
meatballs to go with it.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
All right, but look at the difference here.
all about presentation.
Yeah.
Look at how they
just-
shingled
I would
all
just
the
stand there
buns
quickly.
and the, all the colors and the garnishing.
Yeah, the
It's
different
really
textures.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it really doesn't take much to garnish.
It doesn't.
Some fresh parsley,
It's
you know.
different.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's just little things that just make a big difference.
Right, and that makes me want to eat vegetables too. When I see them like
Yeah,
that and they look so nice and inviting, like I'm like, oh yeah, so I could try that vegetable. It looks good, Same thing here. It's nice and full. It looks fresh.
Yeah.
It looks like when we take that little bit of extra time, it makes you really trust that the food was prepared correctly. I mean, you just really trust the integrity of what's being put in front of you.
Absolutely right. You do.
You want more kids to eat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I think that's a lot of participation is
The way the food looks.
exactly.
Yeah, just about presentation, going those few extra steps. It's kind of what do you see in a restaurant, or sometimes what you don't see in a restaurant makes you not want to go back there.
This week I got a burnt hamburger, and next week I got a raw hamburger, and yeah.
Right. All right. So here's just kind of another example of what the presentation that looks like. So
Pizza.
yeah,
say
square
that.
pizza, right?
Yeah.
All right. So it's all about presentation. All right. So just a little bit quickly about merchandising. The practice which contributes to the sales of products to a retail customer. Merchandising stimulates interest and entices customers to make a purchase. So you can see that the a la carte here is organized really well, and we know that you're kind of creatively selling a la carte right now, but as we move to possibly selling it on the serving lines in the future, presentation, this looks really full and nice and appealing. It's not just like one or two bags of chips on a crooked rack somewhere in the corner. It's a full presentation of everything that we offer.
Some stuff in the basket by the register and towel over it.
Yes, kids don't feel it.
Yeah.
Right. So why is merchandising important to our operations? It increases sales. So that's revenue that we're directly bringing in. And we know that a lot of our revenue really goes directly towards, our salaries and benefits and our food costs. So those are the two things that we spend the majority of our revenue on. But we're also able to do some nice things for students, like the design project that we're doing. And when we get updated equipment, coolers and freezers and things like that. That's how our increase in sales can really have an impact for you out there in the schools.
It makes kids want to come and get a la carte from us.
Yeah.
When they see that half empty, they're not going to come.
Absolutely. So merchandising also steers customers to new products or higher profit items. So think about what influences you when you shop. When you go into Publix and you're impulse buying, things, why are you doing that? Probably because it looks really appealing to you. So yeah, absolutely.
I do it really because I think that you can move things around so that you see new things. And you go,
Right,
"Ooh, that looks
absolutely.
good. I think I'll buy that."
So which looks more appealing here? We have this one on the right, and then we have the one on the left. So
The right one was organized. The other one was like in a rush. Yeah, just
Yeah.
threw it in there, hurried up, and
yeah.
the kids would take more.
Absolutely. And it may kind of look like this, after service. You've had some kids coming through, but it's important to kind of remember, let's straighten it back up. All those labels facing forward, it's a very impactful visual presentation. It just really draws you in, whereas, it's kind of all messy here. And we understand if, students have access to it, it's going to, get that way. But it's important to kind of look at those things after each lunch. All right, so this is just a little graphic that kind of tells you, how merchandising affects sales. So, eye level equals buying. So those most profitable items when you're shopping at the grocery store, they really kind of try to put at eye level. So just kind of a little bit of, there is some, science and marketing that goes into how things are merchandised. All right, so merchandising. Tips for item placement: display horizontally, not vertically. Display left to right and top to bottom. Place products at hand level and at eye level. display items that belong together, face out products, and display prices. So we have some signage that lets our students know, what the a la carte prices are and things like that, just so they're well aware of what those prices are. Merchandising. Work with what you have. You can ask your program managers for tips or suggestions. You can track your specialty sales. There's some different reports in Titan that we can run for a la carte sales and things like that. And then sometimes we can test some new products too. So if there's something that you really think that your students might enjoy, definitely talk with Susan and Carol. That might be an item that we could maybe test out in your school. So
merchandising, understand the sales that may increase with one item, but decrease the sale in another item. Steer customers to purchase items with greater profit margin. Be aware of outside trends. Notice what your lunchbox kids are bringing in for lunch. Stay in tune with what your school store is selling and their prices.
All right, so merchandising before and after. So boxes on the top shelf make items hard to see. Boxes look better on the bottom shelf because labels are in customer view. So that one looks kind of nice and neat and all put together, much more appealing. There's not the bins and everything kind of getting in the way of the view. All right, so as a review, why do we evaluate customer service? So we want to know what our customers think of our service. We want to gain ideas and suggestions for improvement, and we want to identify problems and come up with solutions for solving problems. So, we really just kind of want to, think like our customer and try to find out, what it is that's going to be pleasing to them, and that's a great way to help, increase participation. And, it's always good to, ask some questions and get out there and see what the students really want, especially in our high schools where they may, give us a little bit more detailed information on, what it is or why they're buying lunch or why they choose not to eat lunch. So, and then how do we evaluate customer service? So just ask your students and listen to their answers. Keep asking your students for feedback, observe student behavior and choices, survey students using age-appropriate methods, and just talk to our students. So, that's something that we'll work through this year is maybe asking for some feedback from our customers. Really, if we don't ask the questions, then we really don't know what they want. So, all right, so well, thank you for coming to our informal discussion of customer service. And, we hope you have some takeaways that you can kind of apply at your school. So thank you very much.